Today I'm going to talk to you about the advantages of using a migration agent for partner visas. Now, the information I'm going to provide is specifically for Australian migration, but most of it, I believe, would apply to most other Western countries. So the principles are the same. Now, one of the things to understand about the requirements published by the Department of Immigration is that they are somewhat intentionally vague. They're published for the entire world, and each particular migration office around the world has its own particular needs or concerns. And what tends to happen is they will ask for additional information. Now, a migration agent deals with the Migration Department of Immigration on a daily basis if they're processing a lot of visa applications. And this means not only that they get to build a relationship with the Immigration Department and hopefully trust, especially in the case of when they're a registered migration agent, but it also means that they get to understand the real processes. They also get to know what could be asked for, as opposed to what is specifically required on the published guidelines. And it's in this area where the real advantage of using a migration agent comes into play. Now, in a country like the Philippines, it's probably very different from, say, putting an application in America or the UK or some other European country. And there is known to be a much higher incidence of fraud and false declarations. So the fact that the Department of Immigration do scrutinise applications from places like the Philippines more than, say, some other countries, it's just a reality. So it's just something we've got to live with. And even though you might be 100% legitimate, unfortunately, you're also going to go under the microscope. Now, if you go through a migration agent, one of the advantages is that they're going to prepare your application based on their experience of what the Department of Immigration have asked for previously and are asking for at the time you make the application. Now, to explain that, for example, I'm doing a Citizenship By Descent. It's not a partner visa application at the moment. I'm working towards that. I want to get the children's citizenship established first. Now, the published requirement that globally by the Department of Immigration is for one picture of the child with both parents. The reality is that the Migration Department, at least in Manila, is inclined to ask for more than that. And it's for this reason that I've furnished quite a lot of pictures, and I'll let downundervisa decide which pictures to submit with the Citizenship By Descent application. But had I just followed the guidelines, I might have still been okay, but from past experience, downundervisa know that the Department of Immigration, despite the fact that they only request officially one photograph, are inclined to ask for additional photographs. Very frustrating, very annoying, and as I said, intentionally vague. This gives them quite a lot of flexibility in asking for more information in the case when there perhaps is some doubt about the legitimacy of the application. Now, the approach of a migration agent is to prepare the strongest application possible, and that means that they're aware of the current requirements, the sorts of things that are asked for, in addition to what is officially asked for in the published guidelines. And this is what you will expect with a migration agent. It's more about preparing the strongest application and giving the Department of Immigration everything they could possibly ask for, rather than having this process of, which I absolutely hate, it's something I detest, is submitting something, being asked for additional information, submitting more information, being asked again. That process does my head in. And that's one of the reasons why it's good to prepare a strong application and just try and get it in the first go. Now, the other advantage, in addition to knowing what is required, is putting the right spin on things. Now, let's be very clear. We're not talking about any sort of falsification or major distortion, but they understand what the Department of Migration want to hear and what they don't want to hear, perhaps what's unnecessary. So, to some extent, they're spin doctors. They know how to put the best spin on whatever is being presented. So, in addition to the advantages that would be that a migration agent would tell you they provide, I would suggest that those are the two main advantages to using a migration agent. The fact that they actually know the requirements that aren't published by the Department of Immigration, and the fact that they know how to prepare the right story with the right spin. So basically they know the tricks, and that is the real advantage of using a migration agent. So if you want to get your visa, your partner visa, or whatever particular application processed in the fastest time with the least fuss, go through a migration agent, and they'll prepare, if they're a good one, like downundervisa, they will prepare the strongest case. They will probably ask for a lot more information than you'll see on a typical, on the specified guidelines, but that's the way it works. So there you have it. The major advantages of using a migration agent being knowing what's required, knowing what might be asked for in addition, and knowing how to put the best spin on things. That's it.